Addy Tummy super chatted $6.19. Hey Papa, I was wondering what you would do if you ever met your father. Love you.
I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I don't know why you asked that. It's a little bit of an intrusive question. I'm trying to think about it. Um, yeah, you kind of put me on the spot. I'm really trying to think. I don't think I don't think that I would ever put myself in a position where I could meet my father again. Is the true answer to that? Um, there as a person, I can be a very angry person sometimes, and it's something that I've struggled with in the past in my life to the point where I've actually, my mother brought me to a therapist when I was a young kid. I had like a lot of frustration and anger associated with my dad, and I've worked through it, and I made significant progress as a person, despite being like disadvantaged in that sense. And I think we all have our internal moments of glory where we envision a scenario where we get to be justifiable, where it's like you get to do the righteous thing. Okay, I'm punch my dad. I'm gonna beat my dad up. I'm gonna beat him up. I think about it sometimes. It makes me very angry. This is a topic that makes me very angry. But like realistically speaking, well, I'm at a point now where um I'm fortunate to be where I am. And I think that there's no reason to ever be in proximity of him again, because to me that feels like an opportunity for him to be able to build a relationship that he doesn't deserve. And if I hit the guy, I go to jail. And if I try to talk it out, I give him an opportunity to be in my life again. And it's just something that he doesn't deserve, you know? Life is hard when you're disadvantaged in some capacity. And I'll tell you, specifically when it comes to not having a dad, it's very difficult to, when you don't have a parent, it can feel very difficult to feel wanted in your life, you know? And like realistically speaking, I've had I've had a lot of strong men in my life, and my mother was a very, very strong woman. My mother had me. My father left my mother 5 months pregnant. She had me, she birthed me, and she never in her entire life dated ever again. And she devoted her entire life to two things, which is work and me. And so I'm significantly fortunate to have a mother like that. She was a very strong woman. She was a manager. She ran half of Long Island White Castles, which I know sounds silly, but she was built to be a woman in a man's world. I had all my family actually stepped up, and I have a very strong family unit, which helped subsidize the lack of a father figure. My uncle Ed, and specifically, rest in peace. He unfortunately passed away. He had a profoundly positive impact on me. And even my scoutmaster is such a silly one. I had a scoutmaster who had a very significantly positive impact on me as well. But at the end of the day, as many strong figures I've had in my life, you never get over that person, whether it's a mother or a father that's abandoned you. You never get over it. You know, like it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter that I'm better off, and that's a cope. I probably would have been better off having a father who loved me, who was there for me. Um, but I'm better off. That's what I tell myself, and I believe it. You know, even though I know it's not true. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with pretty much everything that's going on with me. I'm happy with my wife. I would never want to ever go back in time and change anything ever in my entire life, just on the off chance it might cause me to never have met her, because she's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. But it's additionally fucked up too, because my dad, I'm gonna call him John. I'm gonna call him John. I'm gonna call him sperm donor, would have been better. What's additionally upsetting is I know he has at least one other kid, and he wants to be in her life. That hurts, man. That hurts a lot. That's a painful experience for me. And my sister's only 2 years younger than me. And I was a weird kid growing up. But I met my sister when I was 14. And we used to have a little bit of like a relationship. And I was really happy when I had a sibling. That was cool. But we really never were able to bond after a certain point. And what's so interesting is that my mother and my sister's mother came to the agreement when we first met. Because, like, you know, I was 14, she was 12, and my mom and her mom, and we would go out like once a month. It was cool. I really enjoyed that experience. It was a cool thing. We came to the understanding that if John ever found out about her knowing me, that he would cut that relationship off. Both of our mothers felt that way. And so like it was like a secret relationship, like secret fucking sister and brother. It was weird for my father, and I can't help but think that now that like she doesn't want to be in my life, which also hurts. Because I grew up a single kid, and I always wanted a sibling, brother or sister. I just always wanted a sibling, and I finally got it. Like, imagine that. And I was like, oh my god. But it feels like I don't have a relationship with her because of my father. You know? That's sad. That hurts too. And I remember being young. And I remember my mother was very, very active in a lot of advocacy for disabilities, because you know, she worked for White Castle, and one of the things, she didn't only run half of Long Island, but she also was she would work with the donation, like the organizations that they donated to. And she was very active with like muscular dystrophy and like Autism Speaks. And my sister was also kind of active with them as well, because she was a beauty pageant winner. Isn't that crazy? So she would be at the events too. And I remember one day I didn't want to go to an event. I forget how old I was, but it was because I knew my sister was going to be there. And I didn't want to go because she didn't want to talk to me, because I would try to talk to her and she would just kind of ignore me. And it made me sad. I didn't want to go. And I remember, this is one of the things, because I love my mother, is one of the reasons why. She went there, and my sister talked to her. She's like, oh, where's Papa Gut? Where's Dan? Yeah. And my mom is a fucking pisser. So she goes, well, he didn't come because he didn't want to see you, because you don't want to talk to him, because he's constantly trying to like talk and hang out with you, and you always ignore him. Right? My mom is a fucking blunt motherfucker. She just told her that flat out. And so when she got home, she texted me, and we talked for like a day, and then she stopped talking to me again. What a terrible experience. I was sad, man. I forgot how many years it's been. I was still at the bus company last time I tried to talk to her. I remember my Jaji passed away. It was like my Polish grandpa. So my just for a quick thing, my uncle Ed that I told you about, he's my biological uncle. My aunt Kathy, um, married into our family. But then because I didn't have a father or a father figure, or or father's side of the family rather, because of that, they like adopted me, and I was able to go to like all the family parties and stuff, and like they treated me like family. And I forgot where I was going with this for a second. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, and that's like my Jaji. He helped to raise me. He would like he would pick me up from the YMCA like once or twice a week, and we would play Monopoly, and we'd go to Burger King. And I always remember stacking French fries. I remember when he passed away. That was sad too, because he was a very important father, like an important male figure in my life as well. Um, so that made me want to reconnect with my sister. And when that happened, I reached out to her and I tried to talk to her, and I can't describe it. I can't describe what she said, but it felt like she was just going through the motions. When I was like, "How are you? Like, how are things going?" And she would just ask me these questions that were like, I don't know, like par for the course. They were routine questions. Oh, how's your mom? How's your that? But she didn't seem to really care or want to be engaged in a conversation. That was sad. That sucked. That was rough. Um, that sucked. That was fucking shitty. I hated that. Yeah, I have a lot of hangups with my father. Um, and I'll tell you, even going to therapy and being at the most advanced stage in my life when it comes to me being able to deal with that anger, like you never get over it. You just get better at, I don't know, like ignoring it. You know, I don't know, man. Yeah, so I don't know what would I do if I ever met my father again. Yeah, I don't think I ever want to meet my father again. I think that's the reality. Like a part of me obviously strives to be more successful because my interpretation of him leaving me was that he didn't think I was like worth anything. And so part of my motivation, unfortunately, to be successful is to show him that like he missed out, you know? Um but yeah, I don't think I'd want to ever meet him again. It's a sad thing, but I'm at that point. The last contact, not even contact, the last I heard of my father was a couple of years ago when he randomly during like COVID reached out to my mother to like flirt with her to try to fuck my mom again. That was the weirdest fucking thing in the world. It's so weird. I'm like, she saw the message and she showed it to me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? She's like, oh, it's your father. I haven't talked to this man since I was 5. I think I saw him twice, when I was 2 and when I was 5 years old. And the first thing that he tried to do was fuck my mom again. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, you're a weird motherfucker. Um. So yeah, but yeah, I have a lot of anger. And what's so interesting about the anger that I have for my dad too is like my mother at no point ever, and I mean this wholly, in my entire life, has ever spoken poorly about this man. She didn't speak well of him either. She just didn't speak about him. Um, Not a singular time. I remember I was 18 years old when I finally asked about him myself. And I was like, hey, what the fuck happened? And I was like 18 or 19. Maybe it was 20, but I was like 18 to 20. And that's when she's like, yeah, I was 5 months. We got married. We got pregnant. I really wanted to have a kid. And he didn't want to wear a condom. And I had trouble having kids, as my mother told me. And we had you. And 5 months into our relationship, into your pregnancy, he left. You know, he left. And he showed back up the day that I was giving birth to pretend like we were together still, to put on a show for his mother. That's what my mother told me. I was like, wow. And she's like, yeah, he was younger than me, so maybe he wasn't ready to have a kid. It was weird. They're just almost empathetic towards him. And I get that. It's like a weird thing to like understand that, even though this is a person I hate more than anything else in the entire world, you know? But then at the same time, you don't have to be a good husband to be a good father, you know? So, yeah, I know my mother didn't want to separate us because all the advice she gives to women who go through similar experiences is to let the guy have partial custody. If they say, I want to have the kid this many days, be like, okay, that's fine. And you know why she says that? And she's like, because every single woman that I've ever told that, the guy gives up. They just give up. My mother was like, you can have custody if you want, or not full custody, obviously, but you can have visitation, you know, whatever terms you want. And he got it, and he showed up twice. Showed up 2 fucking times. Isn't that fucking terrible? She gave him exactly what he pretended he wanted. And he just couldn't adhere to it. That's fucking crazy. That's terrible. That sucked. Because my mother didn't tell me that in a way to upset me, but it upset me. You know? It's almost like it would have been a little better if you did try to keep him away from me. At least he had an excuse. This motherfucker had every opportunity, and he just didn't want to be around. How terrible. What a terrible feeling. That sucked. It's not a good feeling. Yeah, it's sad. I remember she told me that he wanted to get visitation so that his mother, I guess what would be my grandmother, could be able to see me. And my mom's like, sure, just come pick him up. I want you to pick him up. We couldn't even do that. Couldn't even pick me up to drop me off at my grandmother's house and not be around for me. How fucked up is that? How terrible. Yeah, so to wrap it all up, I think this is why it's very important to have like very strong family structures. You know, if you're missing a mom or a dad, you know, trying to have somebody else be there for you helps. Because I'll tell you one thing, I don't think I would be half the man I was today, or I am today, if the countless men in my life didn't step up. That's sad because you know, it's sad because the strongest, the ones that were there for me the most, have passed away. That's the worst part. And I don't think I was ready for that, you know? I don't think that I was ready to figure out what it's like to be a man by myself. But I guess you're never ready, right? Yeah. Unfortunate. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Daddy Tommy super chatted $2.06. I'm sorry.
No problem, brother. It is what it is, dude.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.